Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Updike Family Homestead. It is really early in the morning. It's about 5:20 in the morning here, but we have to get up early. When you're on a homestead, there's a lot to get done, and we have a lot to do today. It's supposed to be about 94 degrees today, so we're trying to get up and get going and get moving before it gets super hot outside, and we're just not able to do anything outside. So yes, I have my coffee. So this is like cup number 2, but hey, who's counting? So I promised you guys a while back that I would do a video on how to make homemade vegetable broth, and that's what we're going to do this morning. It's going to be a little bit of a longer video and even maybe a 2-part video. So we'll get started here in just a second. But before we do, I do want to give a shout out to Miranda Sims with Fashion in Bloom for my OGD shirt. Guys, I absolutely love goats, and it's kind of, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's probably a good thing because, my real friends know me the best. And when Miranda posted this shirt on her Facebook site, I had lots of family and friends that tagged me for this shirt. So my real friends know my true love, which is my goats. If you have been watching or following any of our pictures or anything like that, you see that I have, we're down to 6 now because we did lose a goat, unfortunately, but we have 6 goats here on the farm, and you've seen Maggie with her kids and her baby kids, and so I love my goats. They're part of our family. All right, let's get started. So I do want to tell you, first of all, that I have been saving our vegetable scraps. And what I mean by that is anytime you're peeling potatoes, you're peeling carrots, you're chopping celery, whatever it is, most of the time I can give those to our chickens. But when I know that I'm needing to collect vegetable scraps for the vegetable broth, I go ahead and I just start collecting that. Before you do that, and this is a lot of mistake that people don't do, is if you're saving your scraps for a vegetable broth, you need to make sure that you wash them before you peel them. So typically what I like to do is I'll take like a potato and I'll peel it right into a colander, and then I'll wash all of the peelings at one time, and then they go into a freezer-friendly container. And this is just a plastic little container. And then when this gets full, I move on to just a freezer bag. And it doesn't need to be like a Space Saver bag or, not a Space Saver bag, but you know what I mean, one of those vacuum seal bags. It doesn't have to be that because you're not going to keep it in your freezer for that long if you're like us. Now, if you, you don't have to worry about them getting freezer burned or anything like that. So make sure you wash before you peel, and then once you have your collected amount, you're ready to start making your vegetable broth. So all I have done is I have my huge pot here that I'm going to show you in just a second. But I love this pot. This is one of my favorite pots to use, and I got this one off of Amazon. But it is a 2-part pot. So you have the bottom, and then you have the colander section that just sits right down inside of that. And I find that this is absolutely the perfect pot to use when you're doing this vegetable broth, because you're able just to lift that colander part up, get rid of all the scraps. And by the way, you can compost that. I've never given that part to the chickens. I'm sure you could. I don't know. Once it's cooked, I'm just kind of funny about what I feed them. But definitely put it in compost. Don't throw that in the garbage. If you've got a compost pile going, they'll be just fine throwing that right into there. But anyway, so I have that pot going, and literally, guys, this is super easy. All I'm going to do is dump all of these scraps right into this pot. My scraps have onion peels, garlic peels, potato peels, carrot peels, zucchini peeling, all of it, anything that's vegetable related, I just literally throw right into this pot. And then you're going to boil it until it's a nice rich brown color. It takes a few hours, so I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and then I can get out there and feed my animals and milk Maggie and take care of all the other stuff that has to be done on the homestead while this is boiling. And so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you, literally open it up. It doesn't even have to be thawed out. Once I know that I'm out, I just take it out of the freezer. And I don't throw this away. I just kind of seal it back up. So that's one part. Now, I did not fill this pot up with water because I don't want it to overflow. So I've filled it part of the way, and then I'm going to dump in all of my scraps. And I'm just gonna make sure that's all emptied. Guys, I absolutely love homemade vegetable broth. Not only does it taste better, but it is better for you because you know exactly what is going in it. So now I have some kosher salt, and you can use regular salt. This is just something that I have on hand here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, again, I don't do measurements. I'm thinking it's probably about a half a tablespoon to a whole tablespoon, and I'm just gonna kind of shake that over everything. And I also have some ground black pepper. And no measurements, but I just kind of shake it in there. And this just kind of gives it some extra seasoning. And then I have a little bit of what looks like it's going bad, garlic. Now, I really don't like to throw anything away. I keep all of this kind of stuff. And all you're gonna do, see, I just was able to break it up with my hand. I just like to take a few of those kind of, and you can see what I'm talking about here. It's not really fresh anymore. It's starting to go bad, but I'm just going to throw those in, peeling and everything. Super easy, because you're going to cook it all down, and you're not keeping any of that stuff in your broth. You're only keeping the juice. And I'm telling you guys, it is so delicious. And you can use this in place of chicken broth or beef broth. When I do a beef broth, I use an oxtail, and I just cook it all day. It's kind of like a bone broth. And the same thing goes with the chicken broth. I just use all the bones and the scraps and things. But I usually use the vegetable broth more than anything. Now, don't laugh. So now that my pot is full, I reuse these containers. We don't throw any, I'm telling you, we don't throw anything away on the homestead. You can reuse everything. Less waste, right? So I have just a leftover spaghetti jar, plastic container, and I use these for everything. I use them for when I'm making apple juice or grape juice or lemonade. They're just great. When you're going to somebody's house for dinner, hey, what can I bring? Oh, you don't need to bring anything. Bring them a thing of lemonade in one of these containers. It's perfect. So I'm just going to pour that right over top of everything. You don't want to get it so full that when it's boiling, it's going to overcook. Now, when I show you this, you'll see that the vegetables are kind of sitting up above the water. Remember, everything is frozen, so as it cooks, it's going to thaw and it's going to get smushed down. So don't worry about if all the vegetables right now aren't covered in the water, and that's okay. So just take a quick look. It already smells so good, guys. And then all I'm gonna do is put a lid on that and just literally let it cook down. It's about 3 to 4 hours that I let it cook because I have a really full pot. And I'm hoping, like I said, to get about 8 quarts of vegetable broth. And I may even get a little bit more. And as time goes on, if you feel like your water is kind of going down a little bit, you can always add more water to it. So I'll just keep my little spaghetti jar right next to the pot and add it in as I need to. But anyway, that's it so far, guys. When this gets done, I will do another video. Like I said, it'll be probably a 2 to 3 part video of how to make this vegetable broth. But I've got to go because I got to get those goats fed and my chickens. My rooster's already crowing. Y'all have a blessed day. See you later. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back to the Updike Family Homestead. So this morning I showed you a video on how to start your vegetable broth, and now we are ready to go ahead and move on to the next part, which is the canning process. So I'm going to show you. This is that rich brown color that I was telling you about. Isn't that beautiful? It just, oh my goodness, it's so yummy. It smells absolutely delicious. And then I also have several different sizes. I've got pint jars and I have quart size jars. And now I will tell you that I have gone ahead and I boiled all of these jars so that they're all nice and sanitized. I'm ready to go. So the next process, or the next step in this process, is going to be to fill each one of the jars, leaving about 1 inch of headspace in your mason jar. 1 inch is going to be, if you look at this is a really neat little tool I have. I love this. This is 3/4 of an inch, so right to that white line is about 1 inch of headspace. So you're going to fill each one of those jars up, leaving about 1 inch of that headspace. Then you're going to use new. You don't ever want to do used these, but you definitely, you can reuse the rings. You just never want to. I buy these brand new. You just want to make sure that they're clean. So you put them in there. You're going to attach it and seal it. I have a pressure canner, which is what you need to do, and you're going to pressure can this at 75 minutes under 10 pounds of pressure. Okay, so pressure can 75 minutes under 10 pounds of pressure. As soon as they're finished, you need to wait for your pressure cooker to cool completely down. If you try to take that top off too quick, it's gonna and then you'll have a really big mess and possibly injure yourself. So you need to be really careful here. If you're not planning on or if you don't want to can your chicken or your vegetable broth, you don't have to. You could put it in freezer quart containers and just stick it in your freezer, and then you take it out. Another trick that I have also learned is to pour your broth into ice cube trays, and then just take out the ice cube trays that you would want. I like canning. I love having it on hand. I use it all the time, so I'm looking for long-term storage, and this is good for about a year. Well, I used it up way long before, but it's about good for a year. And then you'd want to toss it out and start over. But anyway, so that is it, guys. I mean, once it's cooked down and you have that really rich brown color, then you're going to fill up your mason jars or your quart containers or your ice cube trays, however you're going to do it. But if you're going to can it, leave 1 inch of headspace. Leave 1 inch of headspace in your mason jars and attach your lids and rings. When they cool down, when that pressure canner cools down, slowly, carefully open up that lid and remove your mason jars. And I have my little grabby thing here. I don't really know what these are. It's a type of tong, but I don't know the technical term. Anyway, you're going to just pull them out one by one and let the jars completely cool down. It's about 24 hours that you need to leave them, okay, just sitting on the counter. Once that 24 hours is up, you need to make sure that you remove this ring. Leave this, take this off. The reason that you have to do that is because you'll have a false seal, and then you can possibly have that food contamination and bacteria that grows in there, and it can make you and your family really, really sick. So I cannot stress the importance. After 24 hours, take this ring off. Make sure you don't hear the popping sound. You hear that? If it's not sealed, you're going to hear that sound. You need to put it in the fridge and use it quick, or toss it out, because otherwise the bacteria will start to grow, and you don't want any kind of contamination. So you don't want to hear that sound. If you leave this attached, then you could potentially have that false seal, where what happens is it won't seal, but then just the heat will make it seem like it's sealed with this, okay? All right, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm going to go ahead and get my canning going. It's super hot in here. We've been really busy all day. And anyway, I hope you enjoy. Love that vegetable broth. See you guys later. Bye.